Bitcoin is pumping. What the heck is happening? But it's not just Bitcoin. US stock futures are ripping right now. Everything except oil, which is dumping like crazy because guess what?
암호화폐 전문가이자 60만 구독자를 보유한 라크 데이비스가 4월 7일 비트코인 급등에 대한 자신의 관점을 긴급하게 전했습니다. 과연 이번 반등은 시장에 어떤 의미를 가지는 걸까요? 그의 분석을 함께 살펴보시죠.
This is the Prime Minister of Pakistan. He says, please announce that Iran and the United States of America have agreed to an immediate ceasefire everywhere, including Lebanon, effective immediately. Now, they're going to be meeting in 2 days in Islamabad to continue to discuss what a deal could look like during this period for the next 2 weeks. While the ceasefire is in effect, Strait of Hormuz is open for business. Ships are going to start transiting through there, which will provide significant easement to the global energy markets. Iran says it has forced the U.S. to accept its 10-point plan, which includes the following: non-aggression, control of the Strait of Hormuz, uranium enrichment, lifting sanctions, secondary sanctions, termination of UN Security Council resolutions, other stuff, paying compensation to Iran. Look, there's a lot to work through. Both sides still have pretty strong positions, but they're going to find some way to meet in the middle. I think Trump politically probably can't really deal with a prolonged Iran conflict. Energy markets won't be able to take it. Politically, he won't be able to take it. So now we are seeing, well, they blew a bunch of stuff up. Everybody gets to go home and declare victory. The Iranians say, look, we stuck it to the Americans. Trump could say, look, we stuck it to the Iranians. At the end of the day, it's a bunch of dudes sticking each other. Iranian foreign minister officially announces safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz will be granted for 2 weeks. This is absolutely critical. We've had hundreds of ships loaded up with LNG and oil on either side of the strait waiting to transit. We're going to see a huge rush of ships exiting the Persian Gulf. There's, I think, about 200 or 300 ships currently sitting in the Persian Gulf loaded up with oil, gas, fertilizer, all that kind of stuff. And that's going to take them a few weeks to reach their destinations, and the energy crisis is not over. A lot of countries are already going in rationing and all this kind of stuff. Now, if we can return to normal and in 2 weeks we can get a real end to the war, not just a ceasefire, but a real end, a real deal, then energy markets will go back to normal quicker than people expect. Now, there's been some long-term damage to, like, Qatar's LNG facilities, some refinery capacity out of Kuwait, and so on and so forth. It's not the end of the world. We could have faced pretty dire consequences had the 11th hour agreement not been reached last night. But it seems like things could smooth out moving forward. And markets, of being forward-looking, will start pricing in a return to normal instead of a return to the end of the world. This is all really good news. The markets are absolutely loving it. Oil dropped $20, down 18% on the news. Huge rejection once again from this area of price resistance. Now officially breaking down from the ascending triangle pattern that had been in for a little while here, meaning that as long as we continue to see de-escalation of this, that some kind of deal moves forward, oil probably moves back down to the $70 a barrel range in a not so distant future. That then means the world economy avoids a recession. There's no Great Depression coming. Not yet, anyway. That's for a few years from now for us to worry about, but that is on the way one of these days, not today. Big Bitcoin news. $6 trillion Morgan Stanley becomes the first bank to launch a spot Bitcoin ETF. They have 16,000 financial advisors to promote it. Strategy CEO Fong Lei is calling it Monster Bitcoin. More Bitcoin ETF buyers are coming, guys, and these kind of stories are going to continue. All the big banks now are getting into Bitcoin, they're launching different services, custody, etc. Things that are happening at the bottom of bear market, right? Interestingly as well, Bitcoin ETFs have seen some flows this week, $470 million on Monday. Now, yesterday, everybody was pricing in the end of the world and that Trump was going to obliterate Iran, then Iran was going to obliterate all the energy infrastructure across the Middle East. Global depression was coming, so we only had $159 million in outflows yesterday. I think today we see a big inflow day and potentially for the rest of the week. So ETF buyers are still definitely interested in Bitcoin right now. Michael Saylor bought around 5K BTC last week. Dude just keeps going. Won't stop, can't stop. Bitcoin back within the channel. We never had a real strong breakdown from the channel. We're back within the channel, back down above the 20-day and 50-day EMAs. The question will be, can we stay here? So I would look for a trade entry either on a retest of the 50 or the 20-day EMA, or the big trade, of course, is going to come on a resolution of this channel either to the upside or the downside, because yes, even though we've got all this good news today, downside risk has not been eliminated from the market. We have to let the charts tell us where things are going, not where we want them to go. So if we break under $69,000, well, let's say about $68,000, then we have potential to move down to around $58,000, which would be around the 200-week simple moving average. If we break above $78,000, these are daily charts here, then we have a nice move to move up to $88,000 potentially. It would actually get us back above the 200-day EMA and could be a very significant move for the markets and a major trend shift if it happens. Bitcoin on the weekly looks absolutely effing primed, especially considering the macro backdrop right now. Hey, can I just remind everybody that in the new Fed chair's appointment hearing is happening. So by the end of the month, hopefully K-Dog gets appointed as the new Fed chair. Iran conflict just fizzles away. Trump tacos gets his peace deal, gets the one around. K-Dog Warsh gets in, brings interest rates down to 1%, and up we go. 2026 could be a very interesting year in that situation. Anyway, Bitcoin right now at the trend line. This is the second touch in the trend line. Now, if we get rejected here, that's a very likely point for rejection. Bad news bears. If we can close the weekly candle above $75,000, this could be a major trend break right here, lining up with a weekly MACD bullish crossover. When we had our bearish crossover was August 18th. We've been in a downtrend for many, many months now. A lot of pain and suffering has happened during this time, but we could be seeing a trend reversal potentially coming in. Now, it doesn't mean we go back to new all-time highs, but it means we could be setting up for a very significant rally.
라크 데이비스의 분석에 따르면 최근 비트코인과 글로벌 자산의 동반 상승은 단순한 기술적 반등이라기보다는 지정학적 리스크 완화에서 비롯된 흐름으로 볼 수 있습니다. 그는 이란과 미국 간 휴전 논의 그리고 호르무즈 해협 재개방이 에너지 시장의 불확실성을 빠르게 낮추며 투자 심리를 개선시켰다고 설명합니다. 실제로 유가가 급락하면서 인플레이션 압력이 완화될 가능성이 커졌고 이는 글로벌 경기 침체의 우려를 낮추는 요인으로 작용하고 있습니다. 이러한 매크로 환경 변화 속에서 자금이 다시 위험 자산으로 이동하며 비트코인과 주식시장이 동시에 상승하고 있다는 분석입니다. 또한 그는 기관 자금의 유입을 중요한 핵심 요인으로 강조합니다. 비트코인 현물 ETF로의 자금 흐름과 함께 마이클 세일러의 지속적인 매수는 시장 하방을 지지하는 구조적 요소로 작용하고 있다고 보고 있습니다. 다만 단기적으로는 여전히 변동성이 큰 구간이며 가격이 주요 지지선과 저항선 사이에서 방향성을 결정하는 단계라고 설명합니다. 라크 데이비스는 현재를 추세 전환 가능성이 열려있는 초기 국면으로 보며 시장이 중요한 분기점에 진입했다고 강조합니다. 그리고 혹시 거래 수수료 절반을 다시 환급받는 방법 아직 모르시나요? 단 5분만 투자하면 평생 수수료 돌려받는 셀퍼럴 선택이 아닌 필수입니다. 자세한 내용은 영상 더보기란을 확인해보세요.
The total two, the total, not one, not two. These are all crypto coins combined, price of everything. We've been sitting, much like with Bitcoin, at the 200-week EMA for a while, MACD crossing over, so that's good for the whole crypto space, which could be setting up for a significant rally. Solana finally moving back up a little bit. We spent a lot of time consolidating right in this $80 area. Now back above the 20-day EMA. Nice to see. Good. Look at this. Up 2.73% in pre-markets. That is a massive pump that we got going on here. Look at that. That is crazy. Not often you see that kind of a move in the futures markets. So that's implying an open at 68.38, which is, we've gone up even further since I drew this earlier. Now, if we get that kind of a pump and it stays and it doesn't reverse, we've hit oversold, bounced back very quickly, back above the 220 and 50-day EMAs, which sets the stock market up for a new run, especially with the forward-looking nature that, okay, oil market tensions are going to ease, Iran tensions are going to ease, new Fed chair is going to come in, make interest rates 1%, everything's going to pump. Now look, we got 2 weeks of negotiations to go on. They may not reach a deal. They may go back to blowing each other up. There's a very real possibility, but I think everybody probably wants a deal and out, particularly Trump, because politically he's really got his back against the wall in this one.
오늘 영상 도움이 되셨다면 구독, 좋아요 부탁드립니다. 감사합니다.